Seeds of Wisdom RV and Economics Updates Tuesday afternoon, the 2nd of July 24. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. The Chevron Doctrine overturned by the Supreme Court. A 40-year precedent called the Chevron Doctrine was overturned by SCOTUS on June 28. How could this affect the RV of CURENCY in the U.S.? The overturning of the Chevron Doctrine stripped three-letter agencies from enacting enforceable policies from ambiguous laws. Under that doctrine, if Congress has not directly addressed the question at the center of a dispute, a court was required to uphold the agency's interpretation of the statute as long as it was reasonable. But in a 35-page ruling by Chief Justice John Roberts, the justices rejected that doctrine, calling it fundamentally misguided. How will this affect the SEC and the CFTC moving forward as they address crypto and digital asset guidelines? Stock market correction on the horizon? Leading global investment bank J.P. Morgan has predicted a major U.S. stock market crash. The bank remains cautious on the S&P 500 index, noting that a 20% downside could be on the cards. J.P. Morgan's doomsday stock market prediction comes when BRICS is looking to uproot the dollar and damage the U.S. economy. If the U.S. stock market dips 23% according to J.P. Morgan, BRICS currencies will gain strength in the forex markets. While the U.S. stock market will look at ways to stop the crash, BRICS could cause further damage by cutting ties with the dollar. J.P. Morgan's bearish forecast for the U.S. stock market is bullish for BRICS as it wants to pull the dollar down. The weakening of the U.S. dollar is a boon to BRICS, which wants to push local currencies ahead for trade. The vast majority of professional investors in North America own at least some gold, and the number has been growing in recent years. A World Gold Council survey of 525 North American investors found a steadily growing trend of gold ownership. The survey included large institutions, consultants, and financial advisors. Over 1/4 of respondents said they plan to increase gold allocations in the next 12 to 18 months. That was more than double the number who said they plan to reduce their exposure to gold. In fact, gold has outperformed most asset classes over the last 25 years. In fact, with an average 8% return each year, gold has outperformed equities over the last quarter century. Quote, U.S. Senate picks up crypto legislation. H.R. 4763 passed in the Congress late May, giving the U.S. their first look at crypto legislation. The Senate has yet to act upon any crypto digital asset bill until now, as Senator J.D. Vance, R.O., is now crafting legislation. On June 26, Politico reported that Senator J.D. Vance, R.O., has been circulating the draft of a digital assets bill that he hopes to introduce in July. Vance's bill will reportedly give crypto operators even more latitude than the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, FIT21, approved by the House of Representatives last month. And yet Vance's draft bill reportedly takes a more industry-friendly approach than FIT21, which is saying something, given that FIT21's passage set champagne corks a-poppin' within the halls of U.S. digital asset firms. Vance's bill will reportedly take a simpler approach to determining which digital assets the SEC would oversee versus the CFTC. MiCA and stablecoin restrictions. A few press reports have raised concerns about stablecoin limits under the European Union's Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, MiCAR. The stablecoin elements of the regulation came into force at the end of June. The regulation does indeed have some draconian limits, at which point the stablecoin must cease activity. The European Banking Authority has relaxed the rules in its final iteration. The EU is saying if you want to use stablecoins to buy crypto and do DeFi stuff, have at it. But if you want to use stablecoins to pay for goods and services like your coffee or your rent, then you need to use euro or other EU currency, stablecoins. The limits are really about monetary sovereignty. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.